So let's talk about the zip function, which turns two or more iterables into a zip object, which is also an iterable. Let me give you an example here. I will create two lists, list 1 and list 2, and we are going to use the zip function to create a new iterable from these two lists. I created this final list variable here, and I'm going to assign to it a zip object. So I call the zip function, and we need to use iterables as an argument. I will use both lists here as arguments. As you can read here in the description, it will yield tuples until an input is exhausted, and I will show what it means, okay? So let me write the first list here and the second list, and okay, I can print the final list here, but it will just print a zip object, okay? To actually see the values of the zip object, I can iterate over the zip object using a for loop, okay? So for element in final list, I will just print the element here, okay? I will print a new line here. Now we are printing element by element. So as you can see, it joined the first element of the first list with the first element of the second list, the second element here with the second element here, and it joins the elements until the shortest iterable is exhausted. In this case here, both lists have the same length, but if we remove the latest element on the second list, the output will be different. It will just join the one with the 4 here and the 2 with 5, okay? Just the two initial elements, because the second list is exhausted on the second element. Another way to print our final list here is to just turn the zip object into a list, okay? We can use the list here function to cast the zip object to turn it into a list. Now you can see two tuples inside a list, okay? I can also create a third list here. For example, I will even use strings here, and then use it as an argument, and let's see the final output. What? Okay. Here we have the output, two tuples, because the shortest list here has only two elements, so it only joined together the first two elements of each iterable. Now let's see some other examples of using the zip function in Python with the help of ChatGPT. The first here is a basic example like we did on VS Code. We are zipping two lists here. One list has numbers and the other has strings. And here we have the output, very similar to what we did. So let's go to the next, which is joining lists of different lengths. As you can read here, the zip stops at the shortest one, like we did. Now, the third example is unzipping a list of tuples. Now it's a different example. So we have a zipped list here, and we are doing the reverse process. We are unzipping it. So you have 3 tuples inside a list, and we create this variable here, unzipped. And to unzip a zip object, we must use this asterisk character. I will copy and paste this code on VS Code. Let's try to print the unzipped variable here. It will just print a zip object. Let's see the output, because we need to iterate. Look, Here we have the zip object. To view the result, we can turn this zip object into a list as like we did before. Okay, I will print here. Now we have the result, which is a list of 2 tuples again, and we can assign the result to 2 variables, basically creating 2 different lists, list 1 and list 2. Let's print again. Okay, 1 and then list 2. Here we have an error because I turned the zip object into a list object before trying to assign these 2 variables. So I will just comment this line again, and I'm going to run the code again. Now it's going to work, okay? So we have 2 different lists here. Actually, I found that ChatGPT gave us a wrong output. Here, as you can see, it gave us lists, but actually they are tuples. I wrote this line here, which is printing the type of the list variable, and as you can see, it's a tuple, it's not a list. I don't believe it's something wrong in my code, but I will create another file here and copy and paste the entire code of ChatGPT just to have sure. Okay, zip again. I will copy and paste again. Now let's run the code. Print. ChatGPT says they are list variables. As you can see here, look at the output. But in reality, they are tuples. Okay, I can print again the type here, and you will see that they are tuples, not lists. Okay, the 4th example here is to use zip with dictionaries. We have 2 dictionaries with the same keys, which are name and age, but different values, like Alice and Bob and 25 and 30. And we are zipping the values of these 2 dictionaries here, turning into a zip object. Then we print a list of this zip object. Here we have the output, which is a list of tuples. First we have a tuple of names, and then we have a tuple of ages. But I found a better example here in using Copilot. It's also an example related to dictionaries, but here we create a dictionary from 2 different lists. The first list is a list of keys, and the second is a list of values. And we use the zip function here to pair each key with a value, like name with Alice, age with 25, and city with New York. And then we turn this zip object into a dictionary, and we print the dictionary here. So it's a more useful example, I think. Now, coming back to ChatGPT, we have the 5th example, which is looping through multiple lists. Here we have a list of names, a list of ages, and we are using a for loop with 2 variables to iterate over this zip object. We created a zip object here with the names paired with the ages, and we just print using an F string here. The name is age years old, like Alice is 25 years old, Alice and 25, Bob is 30 years old, and Charlie is 35 years old. Very simple. And we have the final example, which is very similar to the last one, but now we are using the enumerate function here to print the number of each iteration. So you can see iteration number 0, number 1, and number 2 here. And the remaining output is the same as the fifth example here, okay? So this was the video. I hope you have understood more about the zip function. Write your questions in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next videos.